Hey there, so I'm going to show you how you can install a VPN on your router, and later on in the video I'll talk about some VPN recommendations and why you might want to install a VPN on your router in the first place rather than just downloading the application natively to your device. And let's get straight into it. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that your router is compatible, and typically anything that's ASUS, Linksys, and Netgear is usually compatible. So if you have any of those, you should be fine. If not, like in my case here, then you're probably not going to be able to activate the VPN on the router. And so assuming that your router is compatible, we'll go ahead and continue. Make sure that your router is on and connect the device where you'll be doing the setup. From there, you want to input 192.168.0.1 into your browser. And that's basically the default IP address of your router. Now, if you want to find it yourself, you can go to CMD and then just hit IP config, and you'll see it in the default gateway right here. Go ahead and copy that, put it into your browser, and you'll be able to access your router from there. The username and password will most likely be at the back of your router, so go ahead and use those to access the router settings. And then you want to find the VPN settings. So usually it's under advanced or security. In my router, I found it under security. And as you can tell right here, we've got the VPN settings. They are all enabled. So IPsec, L2TP, PPTP, all these protocols are available, which isn't too impressive because these are old protocols. And this makes sense because this is an old router, so you're not able to upload the file that you're going to need to get this working with a VPN. Because usually, if your router is compatible, you'll be able to maybe click a browse option here, and you'll be able to open a file. Now, this is a file that you need to get from your VPN provider to be able to set up the router with the VPN. So in this case, with ExpressVPN specifically, once you have a subscription, I'll drop a link, by the way, below if you want to get Express yourself and you want to follow along here. But essentially, once you log into your account and everything, you want to basically set things up. You can just click setup here. From here, click on router, go down here, select your router. As you can tell, there is no TP link, so yeah, nobody can help me here. But again, if you have a Linksys or ASUS or Netgear router, you're most likely going to be good. And of course, you can always get the AirCove ones, which come pre-installed with ExpressVPN. So the AirCove is not a bad option at all. Anyways, once you select your router, you'll be able to download the firmware. And what you're going to do with this firmware is upload it to your VPN settings right here in your router's security or advanced settings. So once the firmware is uploaded, your router will likely restart. And then you'll need to follow some instructions set by your VPN to finish setting up your router. Oh, and one thing to keep in mind, by the way, in case you're still looking out for the router's warranty, is that installing any third-party firmware, such as Express, could invalidate your router's warranty, so make sure that you check with your manufacturer in case you want to keep your warranty. Now, as far as why people might want to install a VPN on their routers rather than using the native application itself, well, a lot of times people want to be able to connect to the VPN without having to install it on a device. And this can be useful to connect devices that are not natively compatible with VPNs, like consoles, for example, and some older smart TVs. And instead of being constricted with a limited amount of devices that can be secured at the same time with VPNs, because a lot of VPNs implement these restrictions to, to prevent people from overloading the servers and whatnot. And so with ExpressVPN, you've got an 8 device limit. So after downloading and installing ExpressVPN on 8 separate devices, you won't be able to activate it on any more devices. But the cool thing about installing a VPN on a router is that it just opens it up to all the other devices that are connected to this same Wi-Fi network. So anybody that's connected to the same router, whether it's through Wi-Fi or LAN, will be connected to the VPN that's set up on that router. So that opens up a lot of possibilities. Basically, if let's say you connect your router to an American server or, you know, maybe a UK server or whatever kind of server, all of the devices that are also connected to the same router will interpret as if all these devices are coming from the States. So you're effectively able to change the location of all the devices at your home by installing a VPN on your router and using that to change your location to whatever it is that you'd like. Now, of course, this can be very helpful for streaming if you want to access streaming services that are not available to you, if you want to play games on your console, maybe you want to play with other regions, or if you have ping issues, you can use a VPN to connect to a server that is a little bit closer to your game server so that you can potentially fix any ping issues that might be persisting. In case you have, let's say, a bad internet plan with your ISP, maybe they're not giving you the best connection for gaming and you're suffering with ping. Besides that, what's also cool about installing a VPN on your router is that you never have to operate the VPN ever again unless you want to change servers. So, you know, of course, on PCs and other devices, you can make it automatic and make sure that ExpressVPN is always on and connect to the last location when Express is launched, and you can keep it on and keep it minimized and all. And yeah, it works really well, but depending on the device you're using, you might have to turn on the VPN again and whatnot. So with a VPN installed on your router, you never have to worry about operating the VPN almost ever again, except for the device that was used to set up the VPN on the router, of course. So that'll be it for this video. Again, it's incredibly simple, as you can tell. And of course, there are some nuances here and there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments down below. And as far as other recommendations, I would say NordVPN would be my other top choice if you're looking for a different VPN. Nord offers a bunch of extra features, so that could be very useful depending on what you're looking for. I'll drop the review below if you're interested in learning a little bit more about either of these VPNs. And there's also Surfshark, which is a great budget option, and this is probably going to be the best option for a lot of you guys, especially if you don't want to install anything on your router and you just want to go with a VPN that allows for an unlimited simultaneous connections. Surfshark gives you that, and it's just a great VPN overall. Now, me personally, I like to go with Express. It's the easiest to use, the fastest, and the most secure. And in my experience, it works incredibly well with accessing all kinds of services that are not available to you, including all the popular streaming services and crypto exchanges and whatnot. So that's what I like to use personally. So I think that wraps up the video. And again, if you guys are interested in any of the mentioned VPNs today, I'll be sure to drop the best discounts that I can find in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.